Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Outside the Playbook. I'm Jay, and there's no Doom, no Ryan, it's just me.
All day, just me, by myself.
Today we're going to be talking about the Southwest Division, but before we get into any content, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. The slogan says, that's one more for the good guys. Let's get it. Coming into the season, there's been a lot of good questions being asked, like who's going to win the NBA Finals? Who's going to be the NBA MVP? Who's the best player in the NBA? So I'm starting to feel like the guy off of iRobot.
I'm sorry, my responses are limited. You must ask the right questions.
It's quite possible that we're not asking the right questions. In my mind, if you go down the list, there's a lot of great NBA players that may not be around for very much longer. For example, LeBron James, 36. Chris Paul, 36. James Harden, 32. Steph Curry, 33. Kevin Durant, 33. Kawhi Leonard, 30. Westbrook, 32. PG, 31. Dame, 31. Lowry, 35. Kyrie Irving, 29. Jimmy Butler, 32. Mike Conley, 34. I know Al Horford's 35, and DeMar DeRozan is 32 himself. What is the real question I'm getting at? Should be the only question on many GMs' minds that don't have LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant on their team, and that is, who got next? And make no mistake, that answer is found clearly in the Southwest Division. Ja Morant, Zion Williamson, Luka Doncic, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter, DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, guys like that. We're looking at the future of the NBA in this division here. Let's start with the San Antonio Spurs. I threw out DeJounte Murray. Now listen, if you've missed out on the San Antonio Spurs basketball for the past handful of years, Tim Duncan's not coming through that door. Manu Ginobili's not coming through that door. Tony Parker isn't. Heck, even Patty Mills went to Brooklyn. He's not there anymore. This is a completely different franchise. For example, you want to know how different? San Antonio Spurs haven't been in the playoffs for the past 2 seasons. Okay? If you're looking around, you're not going to see them in the postseason like you used to. They weren't locks like they once were. 20 plus years of being in the playoffs and having a winning record of 50 wins or more, or at least having the win percentage of 50 plus wins or more. Now in the 1920 season, they go 32-39. The year after that, they go 33-39. Even having multiple all-star players on their team. And DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, Rudy Gay's been borderline an all-star for the early half of his career. And even they couldn't get them over the hump. So now you look at the situation where, is it time for Greg Popovich to retire? Like I said, they missed the playoffs the past 2 seasons, 32-39. Then they followed that up with a 33-39. Next thing you got to do, you got to get younger. You got to revamp the way you do things. You got to take a hard look at the future, first of all. What are we trying to accomplish? What comes next after this? Well, let's start with the young guys. DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, Derek White, Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones, Doug McDermott, Zach Collins. You have a lot of young, talented players on this roster, and now I like the build of it. But then you add in Thaddeus Young to the mix. Maybe he gets moved. Maybe you find him a new home and get an even younger player. Completely start from the bottom. You already started that wheel in motion last year. Coming into this season, you let DeMar DeRozan go. You let Rudy Gay go. You let Patty Mills go. I mean, that was probably one of the hardest ones, considering he's the last person left from the championship years. 99, 2003, 05, 07, and 2014. You should have 6 rings, but thanks to Ray Allen, that's not the case. So how do you rebuild this franchise? Well, like I said, you start with DeJounte Murray, the heir apparent to Tony Parker. I love the way he plays the game. He seems like he's a very intelligent player. He's not just going off his athleticism and his skill and his speed and quickness. He's using that to his advantage to accomplish the primary goal of Greg Popovich's offensive scheme. That is to get the ball moving, get everybody in their right spots, and attack the basket at will. You attack inside and you kick outside. You have Lonnie Walker, very athletic player. You have Doug McDermott, a good outside shooter. Keldon Johnson came back from an experience with Team USA. That'll only help him improve and grow as a player. I like the makeup of this team, but I'm not liking them in terms of this is going to get them back to the playoffs. This is going to put them back in the championship picture. A superstar is not going to walk back through that door and take this team to the promised land, because quite frankly that reputation may have taken a little bit of a hit with the whole Kawhi Leonard situation. So I don't look forward to that happening anytime soon. But what I will say is this: they have a good head start on it. Whether Popovich is there or not, that remains to be seen. I hope he retires just to preserve the legacy that he's built, so no one can look at him and say that he's fallen off. He can retire at the top of his game or close to it. Fairly recently won a championship within the last 7 or 8 years, so he can retire and people still hold him in that high regard. Now, coaching change in Houston. Steven Silas, if he's as half good as his father was at the job, the Houston Rockets have a bright future behind them. Now look, long gone are the days of James Harden, 60-point outbursts, MVP conversations, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Dwight Howard. A lot of the superstars that have come through, they're not there anymore. The whole regime is turned over. Everybody's gone except for Eric Gordon. Now, looking at the makeup of this roster, I think he should be the next one to go. You get rid of Eric Gordon, John Wall, and DJ Augustine. I mean, anybody that's been in the league 10 plus years, you get rid of them. Not because they can't contribute, not because they can't help you in the locker room, but because you're trying to start all the way over. Look at the roster that they put together. You have Kevin Porter. I mean, I'm very high on him. He had a rocky start in Cleveland. I mean, to be honest, who hasn't had a rocky start in Cleveland? You have Jayshawn Tate, you have Daniel Tice, Christian Wood. I like him a lot. I like him a whole heck of a lot. He reminds me a little bit of Tyson Chandler and how he's built, a little bit of Amari Stoudemire and what he can do on the offensive end, but he's not as dominant, but hopefully that will come in time. You have Jalen Green, volume scorer, but a scorer nonetheless, a high motor player. My pick for Rookie of the Year, if Cade Cunningham does not show up every single day to get the job done, I'm looking at that the same way I looked at Ja Morant and Zion Williamson. That was Zion's Rookie of the Year award to lose coming to that season, and because he wasn't healthy and went to Ja Morant, same scenario. Cade Cunningham, his to lose. Jalen Green will be right there to pick it up because he's going to be performing well this coming season. They just recently picked Armani Brooks back up. Kenyon Martin Jr., every bit as athletic and a high flyer and a high motor as his dad was. This is going to help his team immensely, because one of the things that you can't coach or teach is effort. If you can get guys that are going to come in and play hard and work hard on both ends of the ball for you, you're off to a good start. And like I said, Steven Silas being a new guy, being the new head coach in the NBA, I think he has his work cut out from him, but I think he has a bright future ahead with the core that they have in place. Now, like I said, no James Harden anymore. You're not going to be on national television, not going to get all the focus and attention. There's going to be a lot more pressure to develop and build than there is going to be to win a championship. That comes natural in a rebuilding process. Daryl Morey is not there. No analytical genius in the front office. No offensive game planning. No offensive genius on the sideline and Mike D'Antoni. This is a totally different Rockets organization now, so we should treat it as such. no championship aspirations, but I do like the threat of this team in the next 5 years if this core can continue to grow and mesh and improve upon what they've already done in the past year, and then coming into this season, Jalen Green was playing in Ignite. He was able to get a little bit of pro experience, not too much, but just get a glimpse. And then coming into the season, I like the way it's going to look for the Rockets in their future. Now, I said all that just to get to the part where we're talking about who got next. And the other guys are talented, they're young, they're promising futures in the league. But the next three guys that we're going to talk about are future MVP candidates. Exhibit A, Ja Morant. When I think about the Memphis Grizzlies, I think about Zebo, Marc Gasol, Rudy Gay. I think about Mike Conley. I think about OJ Mayo. I think about all the dogs that they had on that team. That swag that you had when you walked in and you seen the Memphis Grizzlies completely went out the window because they didn't have swag. They had grit, they had grind. It was the grind house. You were in trouble when you stepped into that arena. You were in trouble when you came inside the painted area too. They play hard, they play tough every single night. That was their game. I think I see glimpses of that. I see that from Dylan Brooks. I see that from Jaren Jackson. You make the trade for Jonas Valanciunas. I see a little bit of that, coming in from Steven Adams. Like I said, you made the trade for Jonas to New Orleans, and you pick up Steven Adams. Steven Adams is one of the tougher guys in the league, whether people believe he's dirty or not. Not for me to decide, but that toughness is most definitely there, and it can't be denied. When I'm looking at this team, I love what I see. You have Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., Tyus Jones, Ja Morant, Xavier Tillman, high energy guys, Zaire Williams. There's just so many different young guys on this team that's going to contribute to winning. The key to this is Ja Morant. He has got to bring it every single night, and I want to see him go above 20 points a game. Coming into the past couple years, 9th seed, playing in the bubble, playing tournament, didn't get the job done. All right, now you see them, they 34 and 38. That's reason. You come back, you switch that around. You go 38 and 34, and you get into the play-in. First of all, them being in the play-in in Ja Morant's first year is what actually got him the Rookie of the Year award, in my opinion. That sealed the deal. Now you come back, you get him back into the play-in. That's good. That's great. Even though you're in the same position you were in, you improved on your record. That's what you want to do year after year. Now, what's the next step? Next step is Ja Morant. I want to see you in the MVP conversation. And before anybody says that's far-fetched, it's not really possible. You got Kevin Durant, you got Giannis, LeBron, and all these other guys, playing at the peak. They're coming into the season healthy. They're on a mission. Everybody said the same thing about Derrick Rose, and his response was, "Why can't I be that?" I think I need to see that from Ja. And you know what? He does have that attitude. He does have that aggressiveness. He does have that tenacity that represents Memphis Grizzlies basketball, but he also has swag. He has athleticism. He has style. He has flair. It's kind of like when your mac and cheese touches the baked beans. They're good separate, but when you put them together, that's black magic. That's what we're seeing from Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. That grit, grind, and toughness meets style and swagger. I like that. But you got to show me something, because they keep giving you more and more pieces to help you grow and improve, Ja. You got to show me what you're made of. Now, the deck may be stacked against you. I don't care. See if you can get me to the 6th seed, 7th seed. You might be in a play-in for the playoffs, but let's see if you can get home court advantage in those scenarios. It's all about improving year after year after year, and this is the next step, the next challenge for him. But I like where he's headed. 19 points and 7 assists a game. I want to see that up by maybe 24 and 9. He's that talented and that gifted, and when he's on, he's on. But that motor is always running. That motor is running night in and night out, and that's what I love about him. Now, on to the Exhibit B, Zion Williamson. Before I get into anything about the team, I seen something about him having ongoing negotiations about his contract. First of all, David Griffin, there is no ongoing negotiations about Zion Williamson's contract. The best way to protect the organization's money is to give Zion his. You let Chris Paul walk several years ago. Didn't really get much in return. You lost out on Anthony Davis a few seasons ago. He goes to LA, gets a championship. Don't make the same mistake thrice. Do not let your all-time superstar talent walk out the door and you're left in a rebuilding phase again. Now, about the team. You let Lonzo Ball leave and go to Chicago. You have Zion Williamson. You still have B.I., Brandon Ingram. I'm looking for guys like Devontae Graham to come in and make an immediate impact, but it's not going to be able to fill the hole that Lonzo left. When I'm looking at Lonzo, what I see is somebody that puts Zion in his place, puts B.I. in his place. Make sure everybody's in their natural positions, able to flow with the flow of the offense. And Zoe's good about keeping the pace of the game. It's like a drummer, you know. He's keeping the pace of the song, keeping the tempo. That's what Zoe was doing for that team. He made sure everybody was still in rhythm of the game, no matter what was taking place. He was going to pick up the point guard full court, and he was going to initiate the offense on the other side of the ball. Him and Zion had great chemistry. I like the way they played together. B.I. didn't have chemistry with him too much, but still, he was able to feed off him. Now, no more Zoe. You don't have a pass first point guard. You have a scoring first point guard in Devontae Graham. He's a great option at that point guard position, a young option. He's going to contribute, going to put points on the board, but he's not going to feed Zion. He's not going to feed B.I. It's going to be a lot of isolation basketball that's not really good for this team, but that's what we're going to see. I look forward to seeing what Josh Hart brings to the table this year. Now, he's been a great defender. People trust him to hit wide open shots. But now, can he handle the ball a little more? Can he initiate the offense? Can he be a backup point guard? That remains to be seen. But if we're looking at the makeup of this team, you have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jose Alvarado, Devontae Graham, Josh Hart, Jackson Hayes, Hernan Gomez, B.I., Zion, Trey Murphy III, Thomas Satoransky, Garrett Temple. You have Jonas Valanciunas in that trade. I like the makeup of the roster if they kept Zoe. Now that you lose him, we're back to the drawing board because now you no longer have a legitimate big three that can grow and mature and keep that core together. You know, all these things that I've been preaching every single time I talk about a young team that's had the right pieces in place. They seem to do this. We've seen this happen in Philly. We've seen this happen in, all these other places. They keep forgetting to keep the core guys together, pay them the money, just keep them together, and we can build something nice. A la OKC, KD, Harden, Westbrook, Green, all these guys, they could have been kept together. But, hey, that's just me. When I'm looking at this team, I think Zion has to be the most valuable player. B.I. has to play like he wants to be the most valuable player every single night. I'm not talking about 21, 22 points a game. No. B.I., you need to go 25 or higher. B.I. need to see at least 4 or 5 assists from you every single night. Zion, I'm looking for maybe 28 points, 12 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists on a nightly basis. And before you talk about his weight, before you talk about his size and everything like that, let me tell you something. This is the demon love child of LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal. You may want him to be in a different shape and may want him to cut some of that weight, but when he's coming towards the basket, nobody's going to stand there and take the charge. Nobody's going to try to block his shot. Nobody's going to try to rip him. He's too big, he's too strong, and too powerful. He led the NBA last year in points in the paint. Easily. By a wide margin. Not even close. All I want Zion to do is go out there and do what he does and dominate the painted area. If he wants to expand his game later on, fine. But as of right now, there is no bigger or greater mission than getting your team to the playoffs for the first time in your career. Ja's been there. Luka's been there. What are you going to do? Are you going to show up on a nightly basis and put your team in a position to win? You may not compete for a championship, but you're competing for something. You're going to make them pay you if they're not willing to do so already. BI, you're going to make sure on a nightly basis this team has a closer. You have been dubbed year after year the Kevin Durant 2.0. You got to show me something. Because long past is the time where we talk about, oh, what could have been if BI was the one that stayed in LA and Kyle Kuzma was traded, so on and so forth. We talk about you like you're that guy. Now you gotta play up to that. Stan Van Gundy isn't there to hold anybody back anymore. So we'll see how things shake out in New Orleans for the Pelicans this coming year. Now, we're gonna talk about Luka Doncic, all right? Dallas Mavericks, new head coach. Rick Carlisle is taking his talents to Indiana. You bring in Jason Kidd, all-time great point guard, all-time great floor general, a champion in the Dallas Mavericks uniform, drafted by the Dallas Mavericks. So there's a lot of connection there. You have Dirk Nowitzki still hanging around. You have Jason Terry, JJ Barea. So a lot of it is reminiscent of the 2011 Dallas Mavericks getting the band back together. But now you look at it like this. Jason's kid, he's played with Dirk Nowitzki, he's played with Carmelo Anthony, he's played with Tyson Chandler, Amari Stoudemire, Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, Vince Carter. Superstar after superstar, played with them all, and he knows how to keep them happy. And that's what he's going to teach Luka Doncic. Luka knows how to control the game. He knows how to initiate the offense. He knows how to pick his spots. He knows how to score when he needs to, pass when he needs to, set up the man when he needs to, get his own, take over the game. He knows all that stuff. He doesn't need help with that. The issue has been Kristaps Porzingis not knowing where he fits in, running to the corner to hit spot up threes. He's going to teach Luka how to keep KP engaged and within the flow of the offense so he doesn't have moments where he wants to go to the front office and ask for a trade. Now, granted, options are on the table. We know how close Luka and Goran Dragic are. You can make a swap for Dragic and Pascal Siakam for KP. I'm sure they'll look at that. I mean, it would be irresponsible not to if KP is unhappy and you have a viable option in the wing. Now, if I'm Dallas, I have KP, I have Luka, I have Tim Hardaway Jr., Finney Smith. You kept Kleber. You bring in Frank Ntilikina. You have Dwight Powell, Moses Brown, Sterling Brown, Reggie Bullock, Trey Burke, Willie Cauley-Stein. This is a nice team, very athletic team. Can hit the open shots when they need to, can score with the best of them. I believe this might be one of the more perfect teams that you could possibly build around Luka. The only thing I say about Luka is this. When you're going against LeBron, see, it's a different story when you're playing against a not mentally tough team in the LA Clippers. You can pick on them, bully them all you want to, but when you're going head to head with LeBron, when you're going toe to toe with Kevin Durant, going toe to toe with Giannis, or you going toe to toe with Steph or Damian Lillard, see, that's when you got to show me something too, from the standpoint of you have to show me that you can be a winner in this league. We know what you did in the Euro League. We know how talented and gifted you are. But we've seen Dame hit game winner after game winner in the playoffs. Steph is a champion. KD's a champion. Giannis is a champion. LeBron's a champion. You have to put yourself in that type of conversation. You have to thrust yourself into not only just the MVP discussions, but the best players in the league conversation. And I believe Luka is top 5. But those other 4 guys that I mentioned, no doubt are ahead of him right now. What he can do to interrupt those conversations is going to come down to this postseason, what he does. I have no doubt in mind that they'll get there. But you lost to the Clippers. Fluky, very fluky, injury riddled. I'll agree to that. But one thing I'll say about this Dallas Mavericks team is I don't think I've ever seen them in a position where they had to be mentally tough or battle tested. I don't see them ever being in a position where they needed to be that or draw on certain experiences or anything like that. I kind of have a feeling like they were just out there playing basketball, going up and down, and whatever happens, happens. I want to see them fight and struggle and scratch and claw to get to that next round, get to that next level as a team. I think this is the year we see that different level of mental toughness, this different level of fight, that arrogance that says we belong here because we have a guy on our team that can do everything your guy can. I talked about the demon love child of Shaq and LeBron being Zion. Well, this is Larry Bird meets Tony Kukoc meets Manu Ginobili, in my opinion. It's like all three of those guys wrapped in one. He plays at his own pace, can hit you inside, outside, step back. He can run the pick and roll. He can set up guys at the rim. He can do it all. But can he get you wins? Now, like I said, this is about who's got next. All right. At the end of the season, it could be we have now. But it's up to those three guys: Ja Morant, Zion Williamson, and Luka Doncic. That's a wrap for me. That's one more for the good guys. I'm out.